Hello and welcome to the Spirit Mama podcast. I am your host, Michelle. I share everything spiritual mama, and I myself am a psychic medium and I channel the Spirit Baby Collective. So I love to go there a lot. I love to speak to really my collective. So anyone who is called to my field or my frequency, but connecting in with other pre mamas, parents, um, people who feel like they're on this soul path of soul family. I feel like really speaking to you specifically. If you're called to my frequency, then you're meant to be in my space. Simple as that. So, if you're listening to my podcast and you don't see me, I'm also doing this on YouTube. So, that's the plan at least. Then I am currently cleansing the energy of the space, the sanctuary space, calling in a beautiful, beautiful. I'm feeling like this really beautiful bubble of love and light, literally enveloping over all of us. So I'm calling that into this space. I am an intuitive and I am an empath. And so I feel a lot of energies, and I can actually feel the energies of the souls who are going to listen to this podcast in quote unquote the future. So I can feel that. Yet I'm calling in this frequency of love, of happiness, of fulfillment, of understanding, and of clarity. So, those are some of the words that wanted to come through for really what I'm calling in for this podcast. So, let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about spirit mama stuff. Me being a spiritual mom, what are some of the daily activities that I do as a spiritual mama? As someone who is doing readings, that's part of my job. I also am a baker on the side too, so I do that. And I have two little guys at home. I have two boys, and my lovely husband Rhett. But our two boys are Cash and Bodhi. Cash is 6 years old, and Bodhi is going to be 3 in a month. Oh my gosh, crazy! And they are my life. They are my world. I also get to live next door to my sister, which is really cool. And she's got 3 little ones herself. She's got another one on the way. So I get to really play with the spirit mama goodness with my pregnant sister. That's for a whole nother podcast. I think I need to do one on that though. But these are just activities that I feel like I do on a regular basis. I don't have a routine specifically. I'm not the kind of mom who's super organized and like does everything by the book. I'm homeschooling my son currently. We're doing an unschool method, so really I'm not focused on teaching him anything other than just letting him play and live in life currently. As a 6-year-old boy who's very active, loves being outside, loves creating, building, and so I feel like I don't do life by the book. And it is led heavily by intuition. But I've noticed that my intuition really has to be on point, is really what wants to come through. Like my intuition has to be front and center, and I have to allow the quiet intuition to be heard. And so if I'm having a busy day and running around chasing the kids and maybe it's hectic, especially when my mornings start off a little hectic, I feel like it's a little bit more tough for me to like get into that space where I can hear my intuition speaking. But whenever I'm present and grounded, even just a moment of just taking a deep breath and exhale, I allow myself to be present. And then that's when I really, really feel like I can hear these intuitive nudges. So I'm definitely not perfect. I still live life in very, I guess, I don't know, how would you say it? 3D ways too. So, but these are some of my favorite day-to-day activities that I've noticed I do on a regular basis. So I'm going to share them with you today. Okay, first, I wrote some of my notes down because sometimes I get long-winded and I go other places, and I'm trying to keep this into a theme. First, I love to start off my morning with intention. Usually I'll do it immediately when I wake up as I'm you know how like right before you go to bed, if you pray before bed, which I do every night, um, it's like you're kind of I feel like I pray into my sleep. I don't remember finishing my prayer most of the time because I'm just having this conversation with God and then I eventually just fall asleep. And so that's kind of how my morning starts too. Once my eyes I don't even open my eyes yet. I'm awake, right? I start to pray and set intentions and set gratitude for the day and the energy and the frequency that I'm calling in. An easeful day, an abundant day, exciting. Um, uh, Sometimes I'm just like feel like blah, like every day's Groundhog Day, and so sometimes I'm just calling in like excitement, playfulness, nourishment, excitement, pleasure, like what has my day want to feel? And I really like to begin my day like that before everything else comes into place. And so I will say 50% of the time, my 6 year old is waking me up. Okay. So it's not always me waking myself up. Right. And so when those moments happen and maybe your morning kind of starts abruptly, like, Mom, I'm hungry, then I have to be more intentional, right? To find a space in the morning time, maybe when I'm sipping on my, tea or coffee or cacao, whatever I'm called to drink that morning, like I have to remember to allow myself to set those intentions for the day because you can kind of start off your day and just go 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 and then forget that you didn't even like think about like how do I want today to feel? And I really feel like that makes a big difference. Okay, another thing that I like to do on a regular basis is tapping, EFT tapping. I will share that with you guys. I'll do probably a YouTube video on it. I love to do EFT tapping. There's different tapping points that we have on our face, on our chest, that we can tap to, and we're essentially tapping into our subconscious, and we are allowing messages to be really essentially soaked into our vessel to allow nervous system regulation, to release different beliefs, different worries. And so sometimes if I'm having a tough time with, stress and not being, maybe snapping a lot with the boys, like I notice, like I'm just being like, why am I being so rude right now? Or I like to use this on my eating habits. Sometimes I'll notice that when I'm stressed, I'll go for sugar. And so if I do an EFT tapping on, calling in more more mindfulness towards my eating, and calling in wellness for myself. That's another. So it's literally like a 3 minute time. I'll just kind of talk, I'll pray. Essentially, I'm praying as I'm tapping and calling in what I want and asking God to kind of take over. Like, this is what I need. I want it to feel this way. It's been this way. And then I kind of hand it to God. And I let that it's almost like it comes off of my shoulders after I do that. It really is the more that we can allow different topics, different to dos, especially as a mom, especially as a parent. If you're calling in children in the future, this would be beneficial for you to start utilizing now. Is just the more that we can get these to dos off of our shoulders and close the tabs and be more present in the moment, it really it can set us off for a beautiful, beautiful day. So most of these are morning. I feel like that's the best time for me to you know, put some of these practices in place. I also love to meditate. I've been I've been doing TikTok. It's funny because I don't enjoy scrolling on TikTok. I never have. It's never called to me, but I really enjoy creating on TikTok, and I think I've figured out why. Um, I started at zero, and when I started at zero followers, I just started creating videos, and so I know whoever's following me is following me because they want to see my content. When I started my Instagram, it started as a personal page. I was sharing a lot of it was just friends and family and a lot of, the kids and me when I lived in Chicago and all these different things. And now it's my business. It's me sharing who I am but also sharing Spirit Mama and my offerings. And so sometimes I will think, "Oh, who wants to see this and who doesn't?" Well, TikTok, I just get to create, and I know that you're following me because you want to see what I have to offer. And so, by I don't even know where I was going with this. So by, by doing these TikTok videos, I like to start off with a meditation. So I'm stacking my meditation with a channeled message on TikTok. So I will do a short meditation. Sometimes it's only 5 minutes. Other times it's 30, like however much I can get in. Um, and I will tap in, usually with the Spirit Baby Collective, see a message that wants to come through, and then I'll record. And I won't perfect it. Like I'll be, silly in it. I'll fumble my words. I'm not editing them crazily. I honestly don't have the willingness to put too much effort into that part. I want people to see me authentically. And part of that is just my quirkiness and I'm sharing the imperfect sides of that we all have. And so that's where I've kind of been stacking in my meditation lately. Something that I want to share that Spirit's sharing with me. If you're on a spiritual path or you're on an awakening path or you're just open to this world in general, then you're here if that's probably, you're open to that. But meditation for me in the beginning felt so, I didn't feel like it benefited me in any way. I'm like, why am I doing meditation? It's like, oh, I don't want to have to do meditation. But what I realized was once I really put more time into allowing myself to get into a meditated space, into a meditative, relaxed, 0 point space, or just like this nothingness where it's almost like a rest that came over my body that's different than sleep. That the more time that I would put into it, the easier it was to get into that space when I wasn't meditating. So now, after meditating for years, I feel like I can honestly just sit down and be in that space immediately. While years ago, it would take 10 minutes for me to get out of my head and for me to get into that relaxed space. So it really does. I feel like it always just benefits you more and more every time that you continue to practice. So even 5 minutes a day, even while you're walking, even breathing, and every time I say that, I'm reminding myself to breathe because sometimes I can stop breathing. So yeah, it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to look a certain way. You don't have to be in a Zen room listening to Zen music and sitting there for 20 minutes and not moving. It can look different. How do you want it to look for you? But it's very, very beneficial in my day. Um, Another thing that I love to do with the family is just have dinner together at night. It's becoming like a, you know, um finally a routine that we follow. It's easy for it to just become quick like, "Oh, the boys are hungry, we're not hungry yet. Let's feed them and then we'll eat later." But it's so beautiful and we just all sit down at the dinner table together and it's just a great reminder that the importance of coming together in those moments. We really can find ourselves like outside, like scrolling or in different areas in our lives, like mentally in our job, like thinking about, oh, what do I need to do tomorrow? But when we come down at the dinner table, we're just present and we're with our family, and it really, you can feel it. And I can just feel how happy the children are whenever they're they're with us. Like, even if they're being crazy, right? But I can feel the gratitude and the happiness in that moment that they're just feeling the love, and I am too. And I know my husband feels the same way. So we like to do that. We like to share our glimmer for the day. Since the beginning of the year, I've been writing in a journal. It's called Flecks of Gold. It's a really cute journal where you just write your fleck of gold for the day. And so I've been calling it my glimmer. And so my glimmer of the day, like a small, even if it's like the tiniest thing, like a butterfly, landed on Bodhi's head, or we were walking and, we all had the biggest giggle because, um, Cash, jumped over a rock with his bike and, I don't, that was so random, but you get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be like the longest story ever, but what was your glimmer for the day? And so I've been asking the kids that too. And so all of us will share. And it really is a beautiful, beautiful way to bring in the frequency of gratitude. it not only in general, it just makes you feel happy. It's a beautiful thing to do and to make others feel loved, to share that they're part of your glimmer. But also, when you can sit in the frequency of gratitude, it brings in this expansiveness, this beautiful limitless magic comes into your life when you can sit in gratitude. So the more that you can do that, I would highly suggest it. I would highly suggest it. A couple of things that I wrote down is I love to remind myself to slow down. Sometimes, like earlier, the boys were doing a paint project outside. Quick sip break. Hold on. They were doing a little paint project outside, and I was worried that Bodhi was going to get paint in his hair, which he did. Paint the couch out there. Like I was like, oh. So I went to go get them water, and I was like walking quickly back out. Quickly, I realized I could feel the quickness in my body, and when that happens, I talk fast, I walk fast, my shoulders are tight. I can feel it everywhere, right? And I'm like, soften, soften. I soften my shoulders, soften my face. I slow down. I talk more slowly, more grounded, right? That is huge for me. And I catch myself all the time and I'm like, soften, soften. I feel like this started for me when I was in labor with Bodhi. And, through the contractions, I would remind myself to soften and to like just release the contractions and not to like, oh, like I need to hold. And it's this beautiful, beautiful reminder. Also, when I was breastfeeding, I remember my first with Cash, it was very difficult. It took me 4 months to breastfeed Cash. And I remember in the beginning being so tight and like just hoping, like, please, and I would catch myself, like my hands were so tight and he was like very uncomfortable because I was probably holding him in the weirdest way, trying to, it's like, how can you soften? This is what literally when I just softened and I didn't stress about how it was going to happen or when it was going to happen, is when it happened, right? And so beautiful moments come in this softness and this presence that you can offer your day. So close the tabs and soften. If there's anything that you get from this podcast about being a spiritual mama, those are some big ones. Remember to always stay connected. I love during the day if I'll just, I have this running joke with my husband. He's either some days I call him, I'm like, you're my support dog. I need you to come help. Like if I'm like really stressed and he'll give me the biggest hug and he's like, your support dog's here. And he'll give me that groundedness that sometimes I need in the moment. Or he'll be like, all right, kids, out, come on, we're going to go for a walk outside. Support dog in action. It's kind of funny. But recently we've been calling it my recharge. So I'll just give him a hug and I will just be like, recharge, recharge. He's like, yeah, you need the charge. And so it's like this beautiful connection that you can offer each other with your partner or even with a friend. Like, allow yourself to be hugged, allow yourself to be heard, felt, and allow that connection to take place. I feel like it's very easy to get disconnected when we're on social media, we're online a lot, we're just looking at how everybody's doing, but are we really connecting with them? So it's a great reminder to stay connected, however that looks for you, even just checking in on somebody and sending them like a message saying, hope you have a beautiful day. It feels good to receive. I know you've received those messages. I know you've felt them. They're beautiful. So it's just a reminder for connection. Yeah, that feels really good. Another thing that as a spiritual mama that I've really started to hone in and hold is better boundaries. Energetic boundaries, not only with my channeling field. I have boundaries with spirit, like I don't want to always be channeling with the spirit babies. I don't want to always, be feeling the presence of any messages that are wanting to come through when I want to really just be present and grounded. Like those are important boundaries that I hold for myself. So when I'm around others, I'm not like immediately tapping in with their energy field or getting messages for them. I'm just like, I'm with them, right? I do know that as an empath, I'm receiving, like if somebody's stressed, I can feel it, like, and noticing those things, but just holding better boundaries in that way, more loving, more vibrant, and really speaking in abundance rather than in lack. So those are some things that came through. I'm called to pull a card because it's funny. That's like another thing that I love to do. It's divination. Essentially, an oracle card really is like a message from God in the highest light for um, the highest truth for love and light, all those involved. And I always just like to. It's just fun. It's just so much fun, you guys. So let's see what card we get. Oh, you guys, I love this card. Soul family. Soul family. Call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. Oh, you're my tribe. If you're listening right now, you're my tribe, and I can feel your energy. I can feel your support. I thank you for being on this ride with me, and um, I hope that this podcast, YouTube, whatever you want to call it, benefited you in some way. There's so many other things that you can do on a day to day as a spiritual mom, but I'm giving you like the basics, right? And it's not always a perfect day. It's not I'm not always just butterflies and fairy tales all the time. Sometimes I'm in a funk and I'm in bed and I'm like I just have no energy and I feel, so many emotions. But like I said about the boundaries, like I'm not going to let myself sit in that for too long, right? I'm going to remind myself of my blessings and I'm going to say, "Hey Michelle, you are so blessed. You are so talented. You have so much to share. You are such a blessing to so many others. And yes, it's okay if you're just lounging today. If grandma has the boys today, just it's okay, right? Giving myself permission in those moments. So, yeah, I feel complete with that. Um, if your intuition is leading you to different ways of living or different ways of trying different things, doing things differently is a great way to shift your energy quickly. So, if you do feel like you're in a funk, try and just shift it. Try and do things a little differently. Maybe, eat dinner outside one night. Like whatever you can do to just kind of shift some of those, shake up those energies. It really, really feels good. And the soul family card, it's just the most beautiful. I have to show my sister this. It has dolphins on it too. Oh, she loves dolphins, and her baby that's coming through has this beautiful, beautiful connection with dolphins. And I can feel it in my heart right now. I want to see if there's any channeled message that would like to come through for this card and to finish up this podcast today. It's really all within your heart space. You don't have to look very far to find a lot of clarity, a lot of uplifting light, of care, of nourishment. You don't have to look outside of you. It really is within you. And calling on God and asking for help, calling on the universe, calling on however you want to say this, but tapping into your heart is one of the best places to do so, and calling in whatever you need in that moment, and it will come. It's all within you. I'm not here to teach you anything. Honestly, I'm just here to remind you of the power and the beauty and the magic that you hold within, and inspire you to move forward in a loving and beautiful and nourished way. So, have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for listening, and you'll see another one next week. I'm going to do these regularly, all right? So, if you have any topics you want me to share, you know how to find me, and books are open for readings. If you feel called to a one-on-one reading with me, I have a spirit baby reading and an intuitive package where you can work with me and I can just bring all the goodies into the space. Or we can tap in with your spirit baby, your current children, maybe you're pregnant, conception journey. Maybe you decided not to have children, but you feel your spirit baby coming in and you're curious why. Those are all beautiful things that we can talk about in these readings. So, yeah, I can feel my heart. So, sending you so much love, so much love. Have a beautiful day.